Share the screen.
Well, I don't know how to do.
Uh,
Okay.
oh. So, uh, would like to begin now. Good morning, all fellow student and professor. My name is Samara. I am responding chairperson of this session along with my friend, Mr. Junior. Thank you for turning in to the International Student Summit 2021, Group J of Environment. Is an annual event hosted by Tokyo University that brings together the students from partner universities from around the world. We are delighted to have this opportunity to exchange ideas and engage in the discussion with the diverse group of the students about the agriculture, environment, and education. The ISS team this year is focused on linking action, research, and education in agriculture value chains to achieve sustainable environment, social, and economic sustainability. And today, we have five amazing speakers to share their experience as the youth involvement in SDG. First, we have Sang and Toy from Vietnam, Angelica from Canada, Keiji from Peru, and finally Erica from Brazil. Thank everyone for taking your time to join this live session. And for now, I would like to hand the mic to Junya to explain the rule and agenda of this discussion.
Okay. Thank you, Samara, for opening this session. Uh, okay. Again, good morning from Japan. My name is Junya Kodama, second year undergraduate student. I'll be your chairperson for today's session. Before we go to the discussion part, I would like to remind you of some simple rules that we all have to stick in order to have a nice and pleasant atmosphere. First of all, I would like all of you to kindly ask you to turn on your camera if possible. Join from quiet place with stable internet. Mute your microphone when you are not talking. All of the comments and questions should be in polite and good manners. If you would like to ask a question or give a comment, first give us a sign by pushing the hand button in the screen. Hand button. Okay? And this is an agenda of this discussion. So, okay, let's start the session by allowing the presenters to shortly introduce themselves and the work they have done. We can start with Kan and Tui. After that, Angelica can be second. Follow Keiji will be the third, and lastly will be Erica. Will be the final one. Kan and Tui, could you please in 5 minutes introduce yourself and the project you are working on in Vietnam? Thank you, Kan and Tui. Okay, and next, okay, and so can I, can you speak? Speak.
Yes, we are ready. Mr. Ken, can you start summary our
Okay, now I will talk about the topic, the change on the consuming habits of Vietnamese youth to deal with microplastic pollution. My part, my part is introduce some generations and facts of microplastic pollutions to the environment. I shows microplastics that's from plastic waste. As you know, plastic waste now is a big problem in the world. The abuse of using plastic products directs to generations of microplastics to the environment. Humans humans beings use so much have used so much plastics that release plastic waste to the environment, being affected by the facts such as temperatures or others that can destroy the to the microplastic. Microplastics, according to the Colorado 2011, is a plastic particles less than 5 millimeter in length. It easily goes to live body via food chains. It's commonly classified by their shapes, maybe fibers, fragments, particles, and it easily absorbs accumulated toxins that stick on surface of living creatures in marine environment. Plastic microplastic can be formed by many shapes. It can to come to the environment by many ways. It has absorptions and hydrophobic properties. The characteristics to weak molecules tend to accelerate due to the absence of gravity, forming a water-insoluble phase. It easily comes to organism body and accumulate through food chain. And the smaller microplastic, the higher substances absorbed. I have I have read some research and newspaper articles that study on microplastics, and I read that some plastics has accumulated on the bodies of fish, such as the research on the research in 2019 of the authors Barbosa and Lopes. It shows that analyze 150 species of fish. 49% has microplastics in fish from three species. Microplastic in the gastrointestinal tract gills and those muscle was found. One research that I have read that microplastics in fish and fish meal of Z. Theodore and Hassan. Thus, using Raman's spectroscopy to determine the size and types of microplastics, recovered rates of brain-dose microplastic from whitefish fish meal sample was 71.3 minus 1.2%. Microplastics is so dangerous and it can affect to the environment and the own organisms. That's my presentation. Now I will turn to the Trika. Miss Trika, thank you.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Kang. Good morning, everyone. My name is Thủy, and I will continue to prep. Currently, the young generation in Vietnam is witnessing the worst environmental change caused by plastic and microplastic. This situation reduced the quality of life dramatically. Therefore, the green lifestyle, which means the no plastic chain, is a lifestyle that they are aiming. The youth actively take part in environmental protection activities such as cleaning up garbage as a residential area at the beach, and take part in the before and after cleaning up challenge. They also create the projects, websites, holding the workshop and conference to sharing information about the consequences of overusing plastic and discussing the solution we can have to. However, the popularization of no-plastic consumption still has to face a vast number of challenges, like limited supply short and high cost of the eco-friendly packaging product, and nylon bags are too convenient when the people go to the market and buy everything. Additionally, if only stopping at advocacy and encouragement without any supporting a particular policies or capital for business, really few enterprises can join in the green production. So that we highly recommend that the government need have the specifically support policies for development of new and eco-friendly materials or new eco-friendly products, enhancing people awareness of environmental issues, especially plastic waste and nylon bags. And that's all my projects. Thanks for listening.
Sorry. Uh, okay. Uh, Thank you, one, for presentation. Next, I would like to invite Angelica for briefly introduce us your speech. You can start now, Angelica.
Okay. Hello.
Please make your presentation. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angelica. I'm representing the University of British Columbia, and my research is on incentivizing reuse culture through a mobile app in Metro Vancouver. So I actually chose this topic because I was interested in exploring the intersectionality between individual consumer behavior, social forces such as convenience culture, and sustainability in the food industry. So the purpose of this research was to better understand how our modern-day tolerance and demand for convenience options, such as the habit of grabbing takeout coffee or takeout meals in disposable containers, is a product of both systemic forces and personal choice. So systemically, we saw that recycling and compostable alternatives were framed as the primary solution, but they still really follow a linear system of consumption and are basically designed to be thrown away. So while we're fortunate in Vancouver to have a strong household recycling and composting collection system in place, this phenomenon is actually not very popular worldwide or pervasive worldwide. And additionally, a lot of the PLA or polylactic cups, which are derived from corn-based or plant-based materials that are labeled as compostable, are actually not accepted by the City of Vancouver's composting systems, as it cannot be broken down sufficiently in our composting facilities in the given time constraints. So individually, we see convenience culture skyrocket, especially with increasing urbanization. And with the rise in mobile ordering and delivery services, this has exacerbated the demand for takeout food and drinks in disposable containers. Hence, my research examined how we can leverage individual action in tandem with the growing political and cultural support for sustainable alternatives by encouraging people to bring their own cups to local cafes through a mobile app called BYO, which is short for Bring Your Own. So through both a tree planting component and a rewards component, we hope to add intrinsic and extrinsic value to motivate more individuals to engage in a reuse economy. For every 5 cups saved, we'll plant a tree for users on their behalf, and they will also have a chance to unlock discounts towards local, sustainable, hopefully low-waste and zero-waste businesses to further support the local economy. So ultimately, my team and I hope that this app can expand towards encouraging bring your own culture in the Metro Vancouver region among both cafes and restaurants and present a model that fits within our society's transition towards a circular economy. And that's kind of what concludes our presentation. So I hope you guys enjoyed that short summary.
Okay, thank you, Angelica. Well, next, I really like your presentation. It's very interesting. Okay, next, let's move to our next presentation. KG, please introduce us briefly about your research.
Hello everyone, my name is Keiji Aroste. I'm from Peru, currently studying at Tokyo University of Agriculture, master student of agricultural engineering, and my topic research is related to soil organic carbon. Precisely the importance and the influence connected with climate change and approach new mitigation methods. So the idea starts from the programs we have in deforestations with deforestation areas in the Amazon. So the objective is related to evaluate or analyze the importance of soil organic carbons in different conditions that we're going to have by the effect of climate change. As you know, to start, the soil have important functions, ecosystem service. One of those that I was explaining in my presentations are climate regulation and carbon sequestrations. So it is really connected with the soil organic carbon and the function that it has in the structure and especially in the climate change actions. So the objective of my research is evaluate the stabilization of soil organic carbon under different conditions of temperatures and management, which means that we are analyzing how soil organic carbon, this important parameter in soil, is affected by climate change. Why? Because we want to reduce the losses of organic carbon by adding this amendment called biochar. We want to mitigate the desertification effect by the loss of organic carbon and analyze the stabilization process in different conditions of temperature that I was explaining. So I mentioned one important point about how we're going to stabilize that is by the use of biochar. Briefly, biochar, as I mentioned in my presentation, biochar is a black solid substance made by burning organic material in a process that we call pyrolysis. So this is a stable carbon that we can use to analyze, to add organic carbon and to stabilize the release of carbon. We focus the studies in the short term to analyze how in this short term of 150 days we see the difference between the application of biochar and different conditions. So one of the charts that we can see shows the significant difference in after this short period, the significant difference when we study the soil in warm conditions and warm temperature and ambient conditions and colder temperature, and how it's different when we add biochar and we don't add biochar, with biochar without biochar. So we found that there is a significant difference of a stabilization process when we use biochar to analyze the organic carbon, which means that the addition of biochar not only reduces the release of gases, but also we can start the process of reforestation, which is using now on Amazon area. So briefly, my conclusions are related to understand the importance of organic carbon as a key indicator of soil health, and also as a new methods for climate change fight. Also, the addition of biochar related to soil organic carbon increase the amount of carbon that we have in soil, and it's useful to mitigate as I mentioned, the effect of climate change, the effect of the temperature that we have in the area. And finally, the addition of biochar maintains the organic carbon contents, which can fulfill and contribute to achieve the soil development goals that we have in mind in this conference. This is briefly my presentation, my idea of the presentation. So I look forward to hear your comments after that. Thank you.
Okay, KG. Thank you for your excellent presentation. Okay. Lastly, let me invite Erica to introduce your research to us in brief. Please, you can start now.
Hi, my name is Erica Coutinho David. I'm from Federal Rural University of Amazon, and I'm presenting about using agro-industrial byproducts to achieve sustainable livestock production in Brazilian Amazon. The idea of my project is an option of produce food in a context of food growth of population growth, and the growth of also this necessity of food. The idea is using agro-industrial byproducts from Amazon, which are residuals of industry, as for example, cupuaçu, Brazil nut, palm kernel, and cassava, for example, introduce them into the feed of animals, and they are alternative to supply the nutrition demand of animals. At the same time, they do not compete with human feeds, provide destination to environment pollutant, and they reduce the cost of animal feeding. We already have some studies about it, but we have so many options that we still have to study more about them, and they have a really interesting aspects in sustainability. For example, when you add byproducts in silage, it can reduce the silage effluents, and even can improve the feed, the silage quality. And in this context, the youth is really important because we are part of university groups and extension programs inside the university, and we are the link between university and society. So at the same time that we have this important paper in society, we are important inside the university. And inside the university, we do research, we participate of teaching and extension. In that way, we can not only research but also provide assistance and shows for producers the benefits of byproducts and acting of a way to produce more sustainable more in a more sustainable way in Amazon that in my region, and we have so many you have to preserve them.
Okay. Thank you so much, Erica, for your nice present. Briefly introduce us your research, and thank to all the presenters for providing us an idea of what you've been working on. So we would like to move on to our next agenda, which is the group discussion on the plastic issue. Therefore, to begin with, let's discuss the topic of Sang Thuy and Angelica, who are both dealing with the plastic issue. We will start our discussion from the comment and question that we have collected from the Google Learning first. So let's open our discussion for the presenter. As the project that both of you are working closely on to find the solution to reduce the single-use plastic in your city, one question that come up to my mind is like, so I would like to know what is the main factor that make the society and the people are hesitated to switch from the single-use plastic to the environmentally friendly packaging product. So, can you guys share your opinion? We can start with Toy first.
Yeah, thanks for your invitation. I think the main reason is that people see the consequences, serious consequence of the plastic affect our life. The microplastic reduce the quality of life dramatically. They affect both the ecosystem and the human health system. To the fish, they cause very death of the sea's organism, and we can see that many wave in fish in the ocean dead with really vast vast number of plastic waste inside their body, and the microplastic also affect the health of human too. So they must to switch their consuming habit, and I think so.
Yeah, but what is the main factor that make the people hesitated to change their habit, their uh, convenient habit from the plastic one to the eco friendly product? What do you think of this?
Yes, I think the main reason is that the sheer convenience of the nylon packaging product. And in Vietnam, I see that most of the young and the children, they are aware about the consequence of plastic. However, the people which are over 30 and 40 years old also hesitate because they are too easy in the used to use the plastic waste, so it's hard to them to change their consuming habits.
Okay, thank you, Thuy. How is your opinion on that, Sang Sang? Can you share some idea from your side? What is the main factor that make people hesitated to change? Hello, Sang Sang. Can you hear me well?
Can you can you talk about the questions? My internet is
Uh,
so.
yes. We are talking on the issue. What is the main factor that uh, the kind of obstacle or make people hesitated to change their habit of using plastic? And what is your idea on this? Sang, I can I think your mic is mute. You
I think people have their customs to the use microplastic. They can use triangular nylon teeth bags or some plastic, some put, such as some environmentally friendly products are introduced to the markets. People use them and they have the short time to use. And
okay. Thank you so much for your sharing. And what about from the Angelica side? What do you think on this?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people opt for single-use plastics. On one hand, it's because it's like out of habit. For example, if they walk into a coffee shop, often places would give them single-use cups as the first option, and people don't really think about asking for an alternative or even asking for their drink. For here, in the reusable ceramic cups, or asking for their drink in their personal reusable cups. Just as an example, and this applies to a lot of the other food industry places as well, from like your McDonald's takeout to other fast food restaurants. Often single-use plastics are the first, essentially the first option that is offered to individuals. So people don't really want to go out of the norm to change that, because it might be a little awkward or it seems, different from what other people are doing. And another factor, I think, is really convenience, which has been echoed by quite a few of the other participants already. Basically, this has been exacerbated by, mobile ordering apps. For example, Starbucks has an app where you can order beforehand, to speed up the process, or even drive-through systems. And these really focus a lot more on speed and efficiency instead of, considering alternative models that might not be the fastest, but have a bigger social or environmentally positive impact. So I think these are kind of some of the factors that influence personal choice with respect to how people perceive reusables versus single-use items.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much for your sharing. It was pretty interesting that we are the main factor is that our habit, the convenient habit of using the plastic for the decade that made us feel hesitant to move, and also the culture of afraid of being different, that you feel a little bit uh, afraid to uh, bring your own cup to any shop that you are, especially the coffee shop and other takeout food. It's not convenient, and also it's quite different from the normal habit that people are doing in everyday life. Very interesting. And so I Regarding to this, I would like to know what is the strategy or the policy for supporting environmental program in your country? What kind of strategy that you have in your country? Can you share us a little bit? So, Angelica, can you share us?
Yeah, for sure. I can start off. So, locally, the city of Vancouver has implemented a ban on certain items like styrofoam containers or plastic straws. So, that has already been implemented. And they're planning to implement a 25-cent surcharge on disposable cups. So, this means that if you buy takeout coffee, it's going to be 25 cents more expensive starting, I believe, in 2022 of January, I think. So, in the new year. So that's some of the policies that they've implemented. We don't really have like a Canada-wide kind of jurisdiction yet for that because mainly it's been very local, depending on what local governments want to do. We also have a household composting and recycling system that's really strong, as I've mentioned in my presentation as well. And this also varies between jurisdictions. Like, for example, the Metro Vancouver area, which includes Vancouver, Richmond, and Burnaby, they all have this composting and recycling system. But more of the Tri-Cities, like Port Moody, or the ones that are into interior British Columbia, they don't have as strong of a system. And definitely a lot of places in North America, such as the United States, they don't even have a basic recycling system. So it definitely varies a lot depending on each government. But hopefully we'll see more legislation come in soon on a broader, wider national level that can hopefully help signal changes to like plastic bans and stuff like that. And that would be a pretty cool direction to move in.
Thank you, thank you. We understand that different country have been different policy and the strategy to cope up with the plastic issue. So we would like to hear from Vietnam. How is the government supporting or the policy from the government to support the environmental product?
Yes, in Vietnam, actually, we have the environmental protection tax. However, it's very inequitable effect because it's just 100 Vietnam thousand dong per kilogram of nylon packaging, while the selling price of nylon in the market is really cheap, only 20,000 Vietnam dong. It's a half with a half, and it's a good news that recently in the June 22 in this year the prime minister approved the project to strengthen the management of plastic waste in Vietnam. The prime minister assigned to Ministry of Nature and Resources that they should as they have to implement to measure the strengthen the managers of plastic waste. And he assigned to Ministry of Finance that they have to study and submit the competent authorities to amend and supplement the law of environmental protection tax follow to the direction that expanding the taxable objects, increasing tax rate for plastic bag and packaging and other products, proposed tax for virgin plastics in direct in inspection, check and prevent acts of tax evasion. They also have to responsibility and coordinate to the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment to research and propose financial policies to promote and encourage waste recycling mechanism. And I think the essential policies they have do that encourage the technology to cope with plastic waste. The government encourage to private enterprise to invest in plastic waste treatment. However, investing in advanced technologies costs a lot of money, and the profit is really less. So the government is having a preference policy to attract the investor about the tax and borrow the loans They can borrow loans with preferential interest rate and discrete tax and lengthly in a certain time. It depends on how much private the private enterprise can invest to these projects, and this is what I see now.
I can see that the technique and fund is not enough in Vietnam, so it so it made the strategy not going well with this cope up with this plastic issue. So what about in Peru? What is the government having any strategy related to this plastic issue? Can you
Thank you,
share us
Xiomara.
a little bit, Peru?
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, you all for the presentations. It was really interesting. So, uh, those comments made me think that there's different stakeholders in these situations, because it's true that the client, the customers, make the first decisions, but in order to reduce the plastic production, I think there are different parts that have to work on towards that directions. We were mentioned about better products, compost, and this reduction of plastic by have the possibility to choose different materials. But I feel that also if the companies offer us uh, mm, like green products and plastic products at the same time, we are not solving the problem at all. So it's just it's like telling us that okay, you want the problem or you want the solution, but it's not like withdraw the problem because the plastic is still there. So it's kind of process that comes to from behind in the production chains that have to be solved. But it's really important, I think, to have this initiative in terms of uh, as a Jones group try to find a different way to aware people what is the problem and how we can solve it. Um, in Peru, they are trying to reduce the plastic pollutions by adding more taxes and a higher price when you choose a plastic bag. It's kind of similar in Japan, uh, but we have several problems with the plastic waste after that. So even plastic is have a higher price and there is new regulations about it. We still have a long process to reduce these um, plastic customs that we have to when we go to shopping. There's everywhere. So my idea is, I think it's still working to aware people about the problem and raise our voices to talk about to understand how the regulation is improving in the future. Thank you for your presentations.
Thank you, Keiji-san, for your nice comment and about the importance of awareness from the youth to the plastic problem. So, can I hear from Brazil, from
About
Erica?
plastic,
How is yeah the question on the what kind of strategy that the government in Brazil having to deal with this problem, the plastic?
about plastic, I see some laws that the government try implemented, but it doesn't have really good effect. I think they try to reduce the plastic bag in supermarkets, but the population didn't like it, and even like the even about the buy plastic bags. So the population like made the government be come back into this law, and the plastic bag continues being a problem. And I see that our recycle system is really weak, and we don't have many. We have some companies that recycle, but they are really few ones, and the population don't know about them. So we don't have a really good system for reduce, for recycle, and for change this reality. So the government need to work with the society and with the with private companies to reduce this plastic problem. And not only the government of states, but the government of Brazil, because it's changed a lot the reality between the states. For example, my state is one reality, and the south and northeast states are different realities. So it needs to be a global, not only global, but Brazilian concern, not only one another place.
Yes, thank you, Erica. Is totally agree with you that the to reduce the single plastic use, it need a lot of involvement, not from only the use itself, but need to begin from the individual to the stakeholder like the government supporting and also the private sector that are working together. So only by working together that we can reduce this single-use plastic and help our environment to improve from this. So I think we nearly time for we can move to our next discussion. We have very nice discussion on this plastic issue, and due to the time limited, so we will move to our next discussion that related to the carbon emission and the agro-industrial byproduct. Mr. Junya, can you please? I will hand the mic to Junya-san. He will be.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you for great discussion. Well, so okay, next we go to second group discussion on carbon emission and agro-industrial byproduct. Okay, we do have first I would like to some question to KJ. We do have a lot of questions in Google for KJ related to biochar. Okay, so can you please explain the other benefit of the biochar to the soil?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Junior. Well, when we work with biochar, as I mentioned, it's made from organic waste, and it's well used in different ways. My research is focused on the climate change mitigations, so this point of view. But there's other benefits that we are not studying in this research, but it's considered in different ways. For example, it's an important source of nutrition for plants. So the biochar can be source of not only carbon but also nutrients like nitrogen. Additional to this, biochar is complemented with some fertilizers as a process of nutrition from plants. Other benefit that can give us the biochar is the production, the water retention. So with the addition of biochar, we can avoid and reduce the impact of droughts um, and hold water. Um, Additional to this, we also have benefits for soil structure and 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 especially in the texture of soil. So can reduce the density of soil and make it easier for plants to grow. Those are mainly the benefit that we can get from biochar. There are other research about a reduction of runoff, but depends on how we study and how depends on how we're gonna use the biochar. You can get different benefits.
Thank you, Kechi-san. I can see there's a lot of benefit from the biochar that on the soil health. However, I was wondering that the process of making biochar is mean burning our the burning in the paralyzed state. But however, in the traditional way of making biochar, it reduces a lot of smoke, especially the carbon dioxide to the air also. So what is your idea on that? It's having a lot of benefit on the soil, but during the process of making biochar, it also affect to the environmental. What is your idea on that?
Sure, there is a line there to be uh, aware about, because when we produce biochar, as you mentioned, there is the traditional way to do it, and there is cheap and easier way to do it as well, and more effective than the traditional way. So, because the traditional way, as you mentioned, produce a lot of could produce a lot of this uh, black or gray smoke. But if we produce with different methods, um, especially with the big containers, we can make this burn complete to get only CO2. We don't want to get only CO in the production of the burning in the biologies. Um, so it's important to give more oxygen in this process to make a complete burning of the organic waste. And there are some industries that produce really precise in the temperature, humidity, and time. But the traditional, but the farmers won't use this big ovens to produce biochar. They use only the big cans, the big containers to produce it. It's cheap, it's fast, and it in the proper way we can produce. We can avoid the production of smoke and make this burning completed with only production of CO2 when there's a proper way to input air. So I would say that the traditional way should be changed and be awareness of this within the farmers.
Thank you, Keiji-san.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so next question to KG. Okay, so how can you link your study to the reforestation process?
So how can I?
Okay, how can you link your study to the reforestation process?
Okay, great. So the addition of biochar fulfills an important role in this process. As we mentioned, the reforestation process starts with the biochar additions. Why? Because we add the right amount of carbon serve as a biochar. To get the stabilization, to reduce the release of CO2, and to add the carbon into the soil to start this the reforestation. Especially when we talk about Amazon area, where there is no so much nutrients in the soil. There, we have to start this process with this additional amendment to give it the right conditions into the soil. So we don't use the biochar in the whole process. It's just the beginning when we want to start the reforestations. So it's an important tool to give the right conditions in the area to start the process. So it's we don't add the idea of the biochar is adding as a strategy in the beginning, but not in the whole process of reforestation.
Okay, thank you, KG.
Thank you.
So, okay, we have a lot of questions in Google for Erica too. So, okay, Erica, agriculture activities in Brazil contribute to deforestation in the Amazon region. Therefore, what kind of strategy do you recommend based on your research?
So we can use the agro-industry byproducts in feed the animal, but we can also improve production in open areas, because when you saw the production in Amazon pasture, we have the most part of these areas are degraded in some levels. So the first part of this maybe could be improve in this production in these areas and recovering these areas. So we have many options, and covering these areas using feeding animals alternatives ways and integrated crop livestock systems. So it depends on the producer, depends of the region. So options we have, it just depends on us to choose the best one for our reality.
Thank you, Erica, for your answering the question. I was very interested in your research about how the agro-industrial byproduct can improve the quality of the silage, because as you mentioned that the silage is polluting, especially in the water environment, is a lot. It's like 200 times more than the normal one. So I want to know, if you use the agro-industrial byproduct to improve the quality of the silage, how about the livestock? Is that what is the effect to the livestock quality if they consume the silage product that have the agro-industrial byproduct involved in it?
So can you repeat what affects?
How is the quality of the agro-industrial byproduct affect to the livestock?
Okay, so we have some options of byproducts, and we need research to know about them. So research consists on discover which, if this byproduct can be implemented on feeding, and which it consistent, which it is composition, and the diet level. So depending on the diet level, it can be more or less contributed to it effluent silage, to reduce the effluent silage, and to also to the animal performance. So the idea is studying the byproduct and discovering the best level to not to improve the performance or to improve the silage and not impact in its quality.
I see. Yes. Okay, we would like to move on to the next question that related to the Gogas from the Gogas platform. It was if the total switch to byproduct is possible, so how much is the agriculture product will be needed to supply to this input? And is this concept is feasible to use in the industrial scale?
So the idea is that we have so many options of byproducts. Some of them are already studied, but we have some others that we just don't know about them and how they can include them in feeding animals. So we have when you imagine the industry, they have so many options of a product, for example, cosmetical and food industry and depends on the regions of Brazil. So it's important we see the potential of each industry, each byproduct, and how they can be included in silage or in the feed animal in general. So when we saw that, when we analyze that, we can see the potential of we already know, but we it also have and we have so much to know about it that we don't know yet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Erica. So I ask question similar to KG to think about issues that are common to KG's topic. Okay. Uh, Erica, how can your research help to reduce deforestation in the Amazon region?
Okay, so the Amazon, the deforestation have so many, so it's related to so many factors. But when the producer see the not only the producer but society see the potential of their improve the production inside the same area, we see that we don't have to open more areas. We can improve with the open areas that we have in Amazon that are so many. So some research shows that we can produce more food in the areas that already are open and without deforestation anymore. So when we think about produce food in Amazon, we have to think it's necessary because we have global and a population that will grow, and we have to find ways inside that we already have to produce and to maintain the forest. So this, when you saw the potential of byproducts, we can see that it's possible. It's a option. It's a viable option that we can produce and maintain the forest.
It's an interesting point that you mentioned. May I? Sorry.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. You can share your idea, Keiji-san.
Yeah, it's very interesting because one of the problems that I've been reading about the deforestation in Brazil and in Peru as well, it's the livestock and how they open the forest to produce, oil palm and also for livestock. So when I was watching your presentation, comes to my mind that this is a really important solution because we're I'm not sure I'm not sure if there is a way to change the mind of the consumers at these moments, because most people in Brazil, in Peru, they eat a lot of meat and they want to eat meat. So, but in the same way, livestock is responsible of most of the deforestation. Would it be better to work towards the awareness of how impact the meat, or would it be better to work towards find new solutions to produce the same meat, the same amount of meat, but by reducing the deforestation, by trying to find these new solutions, which are really helpful for stop deforestation. So well, was a really nice point of view. Thank you. Just that my comment. Samara, I think I can share my point of view also from Peru, or
Yeah, you can share your point of view from Peru. You will.
oh yeah. Well, thank you. So connected with my research, I've been trying to find solutions. It's not the side of stop deforestations. It's more related to the side of how we can start and recover the soil with carbon and start this reforestation process. So, kind of in a way complement those ideas with stop deforestation or research of Erica, and my research related to how we can reduce the release of carbon, how can we find new solutions to climate change fight. So in Peru, there is still a long path to reduce the deforestation. Not only because we have problems with livestock, but also we have problems with mining and agriculture as well. So, in my opinion, it's important to have these ideas of research in this way and try to find these new solutions. But yeah, thank you for your comments as well.
Uh,
Okay, thank you, Kechi-san, for sharing us a very nice comment and your opinion on this. It was very an important, crucial issue that we as the youth have to be aware of how much carbon that it was emission from the soil, especially from the Amazon area, because as we know that Amazon area is store a lot of carbon in the soil. So we have to find a solution to cope up with this the problem. We also have some comment from the audience. I will show it in the stage for Mr. Keiichi as we find a solution for the reason for this deforestation might be better way to protect the forest. This, for example, trying to increase the productivity of the livestock production is from Hyung-san.
Yeah, thank you for your comment. Because as I mentioned before, it won't be easy to stop the production of meat, or in a different point of view, it would be different to change the idea of the customers in reduce the reduce what is the name?
Yungsan.
The consumer of meat, right? Uh, so it is true that there is a big chance if we reduce the consumption of meat, but now I think we should fight in different ways by fines, new by increasing the productivity, as Hamsan says, uh, the productivity of livestock productions, but also to work towards the awareness of these problems. I'm not sure if we can find similar points in this way with plastic, but there is a way of sustainable production of livestock, but also to find to understand that this is a serious problem.
Okay. Thank you, Kechi-san. So now we are running out of time for this session. I can see we have a lot of we having a very fruitful discussion from the each presenter here. And even though I wish there is more time to share more information from the presenter, but the time is still limited. So we would like to move on to the next agenda, which we will discussing on the similar problem that all of our presenter are facing. So in this session, we would like to discuss to find a common problem among the four topics that you've been present to us and define them as the goal to what should we work on it in the future. So to begin with, I would like to start from the question, what is the main challenge that you are facing during your research and or during your implement of your project? We can start from Toyson from Vietnam. Can you please share us what is the main challenge for during your research?
Yeah, it's my turn, right?
Yes. Please share us
Yeah,
your.
yeah, thank you. I think the difficulty when I doing my research either like a particular statistic to plastic bag and product consumption in certain region in Vietnam. Because of biodiversity in Vietnam, uh, we have three main. I divide it into three main. That is the land, the seaside region, and the islands. And you know Vietnam has two big archipelagos, is that Trường Sa and Hoàng Sa archipelago. And we have several people living here. And I think when we know about the consumption behavior in each region, we could create the more effective solution to deal with pollution problem. And luckily, I have a good news that last March I have took part in a workshop about ocean plastic waste in Vietnam, and the speaker, cadres of Vietnam Center of Natural Resource and Environment, he said that they are ongoing to doing this statistic and public the results soon. So I hope to see that public about statistic. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Toyson, for your nice answer. And we would like to move on to Sang-san. What is the main challenge you are facing in your research or in your activity of implementing your project? I would like to invite Sang-san to speak in the stage. Please share your idea.
Okay. Mm, people people using people using plastic products can change their habits day by day by using some made made by hands products to reduce mm, plastic waste to the environment. But this this solution can be can be applied in long times. The government is makes an effort to to make people to make Vietnamese can raise their awards to the friend environmental friendly products and can help to reduce um, plastic waste to the environment. But mm, um,
Uh, Sadly, our presenter is lost connection. So can we
and
move on to? Oh, okay. Hello, Samson.
can you hear
You can.
me?
Yes, we now hearing you well. Can you please continue from what you are talking?
Oh, okay. No, so some zoos reports from the students can be raised or what to the use for environmental friendly products instead of using plastic product by raise their awards such as raise education can help them to learn about the benefits of using uh,
Okay.
so how to make a short time. Sorry for the lost connected internet. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for your answering. A very nice comment on this question. So now we would like to move on to our next presenter. We would like to hear the opinion from Keiichi-san on this issue. Can you please introduce us what is the main challenge during your research?
Thank you, Ms. Mara. Well, as I mentioned, my research is focused on these 150 days that we call this short term. The carbon is dynamic, and we should continue study in the medium of the or in the long term in some years how the carbon is changing in different temperature, how we can stabilize the carbon in the long term, because we saw difference, significant difference in the short term, but there is some gaps of information that we have to fill the future, uh, uh, and how it can be changed, how dynamic can be in the future. However, we start a reforestation process with the addition of biochar. So if we start the reforestation process, we might find some equilibrium in the ecosystem with these new forests. But when we don't find the right conditions, like deforested conditions, for sure we're gonna lose all the amount of carbon and find until the completed degradation. But those are still gaps of information that we have to fill. That is, to be honest, some of my, or it's maybe my main question for my research. What's going to happen after that, and how it can be solved, because we have these difficulties for the future. But yeah, so far, those have been the main challenge for my research.
Thank you, Keiji-san. And we would like to hear from Angelica side.
Hello. So one of the can you hear me?
Can you
No.
cannot? Uh, no, we cannot hear you. We okay. I see we have the technical problem here. So is it okay for Angelica? Hello, Angelica. Can you speak?
Can I speak while Angelica is coming back?
Yes, you can start first because I think she has the technical problem.
Sure. Okay. So nowadays, the biggest problem of my research is about funding, because the most part of research are made by universities. In my case, my university, and study groups. My group, GEFAM. So Brazilian universities suffering from crescent cuts in budgets to destined to education, research, and these cuts they prejudice our research. So nowadays, we depending not only for the budgets for for government by public funding agencies, but we also have funding from public-private companies. So these both they help us to continue our research, but sometimes they aren't enough because we have so many options and we have so much things to study, not only by products, but on a lot of things in Amazon production, in livestock production. So these cuts prejudice not only my group but the other groups and universities around the Brazil.
Thank you, Erica. So, I would like to move on to the next question. What do you think about the role of the youth in awareness and the action on the environment to fulfill the SDG goal? Can you please share your opinion on this? What is the role of the youth in the society? term of
Oh,
environment protection.
the youth? The youth?
Yes, the rule.
Okay, so the youth in not my research, but in many research is inside the university in study groups and in project of extension programs. So youth, it's making part of connections between university and society. So we are the one of the most important parts in this because many times society don't see what university do, and is the idea of universities, students, and the youth inside the university um, link and spread our ideas inside the university to the society, not the society, not only the population, the public population, but the producers mainly, because it's for them that we research and we are doing we have so many ideas to improve productions. So one of the most part is the students, but also the public that will improve and will apply our ideas in our researches.
Thank you, Erika-san. How about Keishi? What is your idea on this?
Sorry, your question is related to how our research is connected with sustainability, right?
No. Our question now is related to what is the important role of the youth in awareness and action toward the environment. As you mentioned that the deforestation is happen a lot in Amazon area. So do you think is uh, do you think that raising the awareness of the people on the environmental problem will help cope up with this environmental issue?
I understand that. Yeah, we were talking about the parties or uh, the stakeholders that is in charge of this program. Um, the awareness of people is important to reduce deforestation and to understand the people that there is some solutions that we can give them to reforestation for reforestation. So by work towards awareness of these problems, we will find we might find new alternative, new methods to solve this problem, and also find new ways to apply or to improve some regulations that we are still waiting in the Amazon area. So the awareness of farmers, the awareness of people who are trying to still working on intense agriculture and mining, especially in Peru, it's going to be a way to reduce and start using awareness about the use of biochar as well, because not so much people know about this product, and you can produce it and find it everywhere. So there is a long path to try to solve and to awareness, but by starting spread the information in farmers in producers in the Amazon area, and as well to connect it with regulations would be important step in the sustainability.
Thank you, Keiichi. We have the answer from Miss Angelica. Sadly, because her microphone is not working, so she's showing her answer toward the first question related to the problem that she's facing during her project implemented. Is the many coffees and customer are stopped using the reusable during the COVID and default to dispose item. This is her answer. So Would like to move on to our friend from Vietnam. What is your idea on the youth involvement? Because you guys working on the youth involvement related to the plastic issue. So, what is your idea? Is is it really important
Yeah. Thanks for
for the
your
youth
invitation.
to
However,
involve
I
in this?
see. Yeah, thanks for your invitation. However, I see another type of answer from Angelica's in the chat box.
Let's continue from the answer from Ms. Angelica that however the BC Center for Disease and the government actually start that the safe of use reusable as long as it follows the proper hygiene is getting that message across the main challenge. Thank you, Angelica, for your question. Answer the question. So,
And yeah, now I would continue with my turn about the role of the youth. I think the youth is the main force in all sector. They are intermediate sector between the children and the elder people in awareness about the plastic problem because they can communicate with both two group of age and they are really actively and creative component. They are the main force of creating the website, the projects, the workshop, conference, and other things about to share information about plastic waste and find out the solution to deal with this problem. I can say that they can do many startup projects cannot start from the garbage, such as the making shoes, the refill station, and they also create the company to find the solution to cope with this problem, such as Green Star. Green Star companies either construct company use material from H-grass or Cytex. They use the raw core from the trade, the cotton yarn, when making uh, when product closes. They recycling this raw core by supply to another company and mixed with other substance and other compound to make paper and household goods. So they are the main and most potential force to deal with any problem we have to face now. I think so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you for your wonderful discussion. Now, unfortunately, it's already time, so we would like to. We are coming to the end of the session, so we would like to thank everyone for joining this discussion today. So I would like to finish this discussion, right?
yes, we would like to express our gratitude to everyone for the pleasant and fruitful discussion. As we are gradually approaching the end of our time, so thank you so much for joining the live session today. So I would like to close this live session now. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Samara. Thank you so much.
Thank you, all
Thank you
And
all
all
you
of
Junia.
guys
you.
for the opportunity, and it was
Thank
an
you so
honor.
much.